All right, man, peace. So it seems as though momentum is starting to build on the notion that the superstar small forward of the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant, may actually consider signing with the New York Knicks after this season. And I think that the Knicks actually have as good a chance as any other team to sign Kevin Durant away from the Golden State Warriors. First off, let me say that I think that the chances of Kevin Durant leaving Golden State are relatively slim. But I think that they'll be raised if they win another championship this season. And it seems as if there may be some growing antipathy in the locker room of the Golden State Warriors. You never know. Point being is I think that the Knicks have as good a chance, if not even a better chance, of signing Durant than the Lakers do, because I think that Durant enjoys beating LeBron than he would teaming with LeBron. So anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
All right, stay in focus. We're still a little over a month away before players can report to the preseason, but our NBA forecast panel is already talking about the summer of 2019, including where one Kevin Durant could land after one more season in Golden State. Let the sweepstakes begin. Okay, so the panel of over 200 NBA experts were asked where KD would play next year. 69.7% say he will stay with Golden State, but the shocker may be this: that the Knicks finished second with 24.2%. No other team received more than 3%.
Let me say this. I wouldn't quite have the Knicks at 24%. I probably have them more at about 15% because I think that the chances of the Warriors signing Durant are around 80%, 78, 79%. But I do believe that it is appropriate to have the Knicks as the second most viable option for Durant other than the Warriors. And of course, the most viable option for him to go to should he decide to leave the Warriors, because it would afford him that same cosmopolitan aspect that he would get with the Lakers, but he would not have to team up with LeBron. He could also finally form a league with some of his other good friends across the league, like Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and they could help build up the New York Knicks franchise, a franchise that for the most part has been much more bluster than actual championships. To hear Knicks fans run off at the mouth, you think that they were Laker fans or Boston Celtics fans, teams that had actually dominated the NBA. They're either bragging about how great New York basketball is, or they're always depressed about how bad the Knicks actually are. I just think that right now the Knicks are very fertile ground to recruit free agents, especially with the coach that they have, David Fizdale, who seems to be the talk of the NBA world. I believe that Magic Johnson wanted David Fizdale, but the kibosh was put on him hiring David Fizdale by Jeannie Buss.
And of the vote, how about it? Will, should KD go to the New York Knicks?
He should go to the New York Knicks. Hopefully, for his sake and Knicks fans' sake, James Dolan wouldn't be the owner by then. But he should absolutely go to the New York Knicks. It's the perfect.
I agree, and let me say this. Presumably, he's going to win his third consecutive NBA championship with the Golden State Warriors. If he were to leave Golden State and sign with the Knicks and win just one championship with the Knicks, that will legitimize his 3 championships with the Warriors. Because if he ends his career having just won championships with the Steph Curry Golden State Warriors, it's always going to be a black mark on his record that he went to Golden State. But if he wins just one championship with the Knicks, all of a sudden that legitimizes the 3 championships with the Warriors, a la LeBron James' 2 championships with Miami that got legitimized when he won the 1 championship with Cleveland.
Perfect chess move to everyone that's ever doubted or hated Kevin Durant. It's the perfect chess move to those that say, like myself at the time, that he joined up with his ultimate rival, those that he couldn't beat, he joined, that he helped create one of the worst super teams that fans at least love to hate in the NBA. He would revive a down franchise, a huge market, make something his own team. He could drag along a superstar like Kyrie with him, and he would have a young base of talent with Kristaps Porzingis, Kevin Knox, even maybe Frank Ntilikina. That would be an awesome move. And here's the best. It would be a chess move, not just against haters, not just against winning a championship in the NBA, showing you can do it wherever you go, but against LeBron James. LeBron moves to the West, vacates essentially his disciples' biggest argument for him. Look at LeBron, 8 straight finals, dominates the East, and Kevin goes and can take that same mantle. Dominate the East, however many straight finals, revive the New York Knicks. I love the chess move against everyone.
Okay.
I completely agree with you, Will Kane. There's very little that I can add to that. And the Eastern Conference component is extremely important as well. And the NBA would love that. To have KD in New York, LeBron in LA, you have the potential to have an LA versus New York rivalry, with those two cities already having a natural rivalry as it is, as the two biggest media centers and cosmopolitan centers in America. And then you have the basketball rivalry burgeoning. That would be even bigger than the Boston Celtics versus LA Lakers rivalry. Believe me, the NBA would love to have a New York versus LA rivalry and have their two best players playing in each respective city for each respective franchise. That'd be very huge. And it would almost guarantee that the Knicks would get to the finals basically every year, in the same way as Will Kane stated, as LeBron James would make the finals every year. Because with KD and Kyrie, and maybe even a Jimmy Butler, with Kristaps Porzingis, who's going to stop them?
I like what you said. And also, KD would be going to the biggest market really in the world. I mean,
that's correct. New York City really is the biggest market in the world. And when he says market, not just from a media perspective, but just from an influence perspective. All other major cities look at New York as the hub of influence, particularly culturally. If we were to take account of the most influential cities on the planet, of course, you have Rome, you have Tokyo, you have London, etc. New York is the capital of the planet Earth. That's why they have the UN here.
I mean, New York is the most important place on planet Earth, and KD would own it.
It actually is. Max Kellerman is on point with that. Molly Karam is saying, oh God, but it's the truth. New York City is the unofficial, official capital of the planet Earth.
By any measure, it's the only Alpha Prime city other than London on planet Earth. And there
you happen to live in the most important place on Earth.
Offensive when you say it, but I'm just a statement of fact. In the known universe, the capital of the known universe is New York City. Is it somewhere else? The point is this.
You're the best.
KD would be going to the biggest market, who's never had a player as good as him. He'd immediately, day one, he's the greatest player in history, or the best player in the history of the New York Knicks. And he can play above the rim if he has to. The Knicks have never really had a great player who could do that, any of that stuff. Here's the problem. If Porzingis stays healthy, and they get another star, who says they dominate the East? You are making the mistake of putting KD on the same level as LeBron James. They are two different levels of player. I can't say this clearly enough. LeBron James is up here. Everyone else is a full level below. KD can't see LeBron. Not the same caliber player, period. So let's say...
Well, I have a hard time believing that one, Max Kellerman. I have a very difficult time agreeing with that, especially since KD was able to win an MVP award while LeBron was still in his physical prime in LeBron's last year with the Miami Heat. He was a better defensive and offensive player than LeBron James was that season. So it's comparable. Do I believe that LeBron James is a greater player and a better player than KD right now? Yes, but it's very close. Very close. Nowhere near as vast a gulf as you're trying to make it out to be. And beyond that, for KD to sign with the Knicks, he's not going to be their only acquisition. He would sign there, Kyrie would sign there, and I suspect that Jimmy Butler would sign there as well. But it depends on their cap space, of course.
Let's say KD does go to the Knicks, and they don't, and it's Porzingis, and Porzingis turns into a star but not a superstar, and they do get Kyrie or some other good player. Are they necessarily better than, I don't know, the Raptors with Kawhi? Are they, okay, well, Kawhi won't be there. Are they better than the Celtics if Kyrie doesn't leave the Celtics, especially considering the moves that Danny Ainge is capable of making? You put right now, here's between LeBron and KD. Put KD on the Knicks right now. Are the Knicks the best team in the East right now? Nope. Put KD on the Wizards right now. Are you sure they're better than the Celtics? I'm not. Are they better than the Raptors? I don't know. Let's say Kawhi does go to LA. He leaves the Raptors, and you replace him with KD. Did the Raptors get better? I don't think so. If they did, maybe marginally, maybe they get a little worse.
I like Kawhi Leonard, but I have to see how he does this season with the Raptors before I state unequivocally that he's better than Kevin Durant. I think that Kevin Durant brings a great deal to the table that Max Kellerman is not considering. He scores 30 points easier than any player in the NBA. I think that LeBron James is close in regards to the ease in which he can score 30, or Steph Curry when he's hot from the field. But Kevin Durant does not necessarily have to be hot from the outside to score 30 and make it look relatively easy. I just think that sometimes Max gets a little bit too high on his horse when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, and I like Kawhi. But this season is definitely going to be a referendum on him as an overall basketball player.
I don't know. I think a healthy Kawhi is a little better than KD, actually, but they're about the same caliber player. You have made the mistake of thinking KD is LeBron. KD is an all-time great. He ain't LeBron James. LeBron James going down in history as the second greatest player who ever lived. KD is not there. If I bet...
Says you, sir. But it's a great world that LeBron lives in, within your head, within your subconscious, where he could win 3 championships and lose 6 and be certainly the second greatest player in the history of the NBA. I'm sorry, but I'm just not buying it. In regards to Kevin Durant, I wouldn't mind seeing him come to the Knicks, especially if he could team with Kyrie. As a matter of fact, I think that he would only come to the Knicks with the contingency that they would also sign Kyrie Irving. I think that their games would fit together very well, especially with a Jimmy Butler. I've never been a big fan of Kristaps Porzingis. I quite frankly would not mind seeing the Knicks move him, but he's coming off of a very bad knee injury, so he's going to have to show what he can do this season.
If I've made a mistake, it sure seems to one that made you insecure. There's this funny the arguments that LeBron disciples, and I think I characterized that correctly. LeBron.
Well done, sir. I like that. LeBron disciples. That's why I call them acolytes or sycophants. I agree.
LeBron disciples make. I mean, it's fascinating how defensive you immediately got about LeBron James. The minute I talk about KD going to the East, all of a sudden it's a threat to LeBron's legacy, the one he built by going to 8 straight Eastern Conference Finals. That mountain is entirely too tall for KD to climb.
Thank you, sir. That insurmountable pinnacle where LeBron James gets to go 3-6 in the finals.
How dare he assume he could win the conference finals?
And let me say this. Kevin Durant has been greater in his finals performances than LeBron James has. Kevin Durant has never had a performance like LeBron James had in 2007 or 2011 or 2014. KD has been great in all 3 finals appearances that he's made.
8 straight times after winning, what is it now, 2 straight NBA finals. Oh my God! How could he win the conference final? That's too high a mountain.
Wait a minute. He joins a 73-win team.
Look, it's your...
And then wins a couple of titles, and by the way, a couple of titles where really he wasn't as good as LeBron.
It's your insecurity I'm reading, not your words. You didn't have to make
Thank you, sir. I agree.
this argument. You chose to make this argument.
Well,
you saw it as an all-out assault on LeBron.
Let me rewind the video for you. You said he'd one-up LeBron. You said he would one-up LeBron.
I think it would be a perfect move in the LeBron-KD argument.
I wish I could call an audible and we had more time for this, guys.
You're not shutting me down, not yet. One quick rebuttal, okay?
5 seconds.
Okay, you're right about one thing. The East...
That's it. 5 seconds up.
The East isn't what it used to be, and that's why LeBron won.
I promise you, we need to revisit this.
The East isn't what it used to be, and that's why LeBron left. What exactly do you mean by that, sir? Do you mean that the East is tougher than it was before, that it's not as tough as it used to be? That's a very interesting last statement that you made. But I do think that it would be great for the NBA if Kevin Durant came East, and if they could get Kawhi Leonard to stay in the East, to bring some flavor to the Eastern Conference. I think that it would be very good for the league. But anyway, peace.